Sure, sounds good.
All right. So let's just go ahead and start with the first question. What would you say your number one rule has to be when going into chip design, if any?
Number one rule. There's like a couple rules, I guess, that I impose on myself when I try to make the chips,
Hmm.
but I haven't made that many that are just like purely original. So like, you've probably noticed, most of them are just ports of existing cards from Star Force 3. But
Hmm.
there are some mods that I haven't released yet that
Ooh.
actually do include custom chips, and in those cases, like I will try to be balanced. Like I have one, just as an example, that's a mega chip that like calls like thunder from the heavens, and
Hmm.
I like try to like adjust the damage value on that and like not make it ridiculously overpowered. You know, it shouldn't be like invis pierce and also part cursor or something like that. It should be like
Right.
reasonable. Most of like the chips I do are inspired by something,
Hmm.
and I want to like keep the identity of whatever that thing is inspired from is without like changing it completely. Because
Right.
sometimes if you nerf something too much, you can remove what makes that thing unique. So
Right.
I
It
guess
could get
like
rid.
my number one rule is like try to preserve the identity of the chip while still making it fun.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people agree with that. I know in general it's been really difficult sliding a lot of Star Force chips into, which I guess for context, you've worked on a lot of Star Force chips, but sliding those into Battle Network can be kind of difficult because the meta of Star Force is very different from Battle
Battle Network, yeah.
Network. You can gap close it at most times, and the battle can be a lot quicker in using the chips depending on what's going on. So there's I could see it being difficult, which is also why I haven't tried to engage too much with it. I know you've been doing a lot of balance changes for Star Force Mega Man because I know it's based on the patch.
Yeah.
Uh, but everyone's still figuring out the balance with the navies, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Thunder from the Heavens. I wonder what it's gonna do. I kind of thinking Ragnarok, but I'm also thinking Thunderstorm. So I look forward to seeing what that ends up being.
My super special secret mod, yeah. I've been teasing it a couple times in the server, but I'm excited to release it. I'm hit like a couple roadblocks that prevented me from getting it done, but I'm still doing my best to get it finished.
More of these interviews I've had, the more I've just been like, man, I should make a new Toadman build. I guess going into the next question, we got. Could you maybe elaborate on what your favorite and least favorite chips are that you have created? If you don't necessarily have a least favorite chip, maybe one that you had difficulty doing or that you haven't been sure on.
Sure. I think my favorite is probably Moo Rejection. It's like
Hmm.
it's a very interesting chip, and it was one that like that one also like I had to adjust a couple times
More than a
because
couple.
initially I yeah like because initially it was just like the once per turn variant, and then it was
Right.
pointed out to me that the once per turn variant is actually only how Rogue Noises works. The Giga card is the one that like regenerates every few steps, and I completely forgot about that. And
Mm.
then when I made it too faithful, and I made it regenerate every 2 steps, it was beyond broken.
During the Net Saviors tournament. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. And then I gave it a proper time limit and made it 3 steps instead of 2, and that seems to have worked out.
Hmm.
But I really like the way that chip works, and also just the way it looks, like the movement of like the light blue barrier behind you. I got
Mm-hmm.
that sprite also from the OSS patch. But I think the way that you can like portray some visual cues in Bound Arc is different from Star Force because it's a 2D game instead of a 3D one. It's like in Star Force, it's like you just see like the Moo barrier flash in front of Mega Man when you shoot him.
Mm.
And in Bound Arc, the way that the Brianna Sonic did it in the OSS patch and that I also ported to HubOS is that like you see it like behind you at all times, and once the barrier goes away, it like slowly fades out. And I really
Mm.
liked like programming in that effect. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to do it or that it would be like too difficult. And no, it actually ended up being easier
Mm.
than I thought.
I think some people have been discussing back and forth for a while now, layering for like a lot of different things. So thankfully, that's kind of been a natural part of the development process of HubOS was like how things were layered. I know statuses were a problem for a while. Move barrier in general is a very interesting chip. I look forward to see if you do more Mew chips because. Spoiler alert, I actually really like Rogue Noise and a bunch of... It's Star Force. I have to clarify. It's Star Force. But I try not to let that get in my way when I think about like all the sword chips and whatnot. It'll be interesting, especially with new sword navis coming out later. But what would you say your least favorite, or maybe what the most difficult was?
The most difficult thing to like program, was like my least favorite to make, is not a chip. It was actually it was actually Rogue Noise. I had this this thing happened to me when I was making the Star Force mods, and that like I suffered from scope creep because initially it was just going to be base geo with the lock on, and that would be it. But then I got more and more ambitious. I thought, what if I added just like some of the more iconic noise forms, like the ones that people like would generally want to make combos with in Star Force, like Gemini with the sword paralysis and Cancer with the bubble charge shot. So I added 2 noise forms for the Black Ace variant. Then I added the other 3. And then I added Black Ace. And then I also added Rogue. But because I added Rogue like last, and he, the way he works is that he excludes the other noise forms.
Right.
I had to rewrite portions of the code in order to accommodate Rogue.
Right.
And I was like not entirely happy with the rewrite. So like if you actually dig into the Lua file, there will be certain comments that I wrote where I'm just blaming Rogue for things not working.
I think my favorite thing is going into people's Lua files and saying, "Why does this work? Why is it like this?" Ah!
It's so funny. It's a programmer rite of passage as far as I'm concerned.
I haven't heard that passage yet, but I'm taking sneak peeks into what people have said.
Not a chip, but that's like my least favorite thing I've coded. I think Rogue is like really powerful and like fun to use, and hopefully he's like balanced now. But
I've never messed with it, but hopefully. He's always kind of been there. I think currently, I won't go into that too much. There's a lot of diversity with sword navis right now, so it'll definitely be interesting to see. I can't imagine how difficult it was because if you started from the Rogue program side, and you started working on that instead of like just making it a dependency in Star Force Mega Man, I could see that being... Because I imagine you could just code that into Mega Man and that would just make everything easier. And then it's like, if you have Rogue Noise, then you can code that for whatever the cross-section is as like an exception.
That's basically what I did, yeah.
Okay, yeah. It sounds super complicated.
If the augment is there, it gives you the abilities and changes his texture and all that. But in the augment, like the augment itself is technically not doing anything.
Right, it's just a check.
Yeah. But that actually was like one of the initial problems. Well, there's like 2 issues which have like both thankfully been fixed. The first is I didn't know how big to make it. That was one of the first like major balance changes I made to Rogue was increasing the NCP size. Because I initially made it that tiny little... It was 3 red blocks, like just a line of 3.
Yeah.
So kind of like Reflect, but smaller. Mm-hmm. And I made it that way because that's how it was in the OSS patch. And I just assumed, like, well, I mean, if people do it like that in the OSS patch, surely it'll be fine, question mark? And no, it wasn't.
Well, you're only playing against Star Force Mega Man in the OSS patch.
Yeah. He was, yeah, I remember. In fairness, some of the stuff that made him broken wasn't just his own abilities and how small the NCP was. It was also that, like,
there were new chips. There were
chips. And a lot of chips back then were null. Like the old sword fighters were null.
And yeah, it's
the short that you made, the Coven Rider edit. That was Millislice, and that used to be part null. I think that was why it was.
It used to be 24 hits. Now it's 18.
Yeah, it got a pretty major nerf after, which was completely understandable. But I saw that clip and I was like, dude.
I was shocked everyone saw that, but I had just watched W, so like Axel was like fresh in my mind. I'm like, this kind of reminds me of this. I'll make a dumb edit and post it real quick. Oh my god, there's so many people. Who are you people? But yeah,
I've been recommended to watch Kamen Rider. I'll have to check it out at some point.
Oh yeah, they got like a couple of the series on YouTube. They're like all pretty good. Maybe the original is kind of old, but like if you look at like Ryuki or Kuga, I think they're both pretty solid.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah, I wrote down some of the ones that like some friends recommended to me. One of them really wants me to see W. Well,
W is very solid, very good. Okay, before I get too sidetracked, because
sure,
there's
go ahead.
a very fun conversation. Regarding the CCC private format, how do you feel about folders being private? Do you believe that private formats can exist and be fun, at least in formats with a limited chip pool? Or do you think public folders might be more necessary due to HubOS's large chip pool?
I think it can work either way. I don't mind them being private. Actually, something I was trying to do, it didn't really work out for me, but I tried it, was like, since I know that we're limited to the BN6 NCPs and chips mostly, but like each person can use their own chips, like that's the premise. I tried to like do a bit of research. I went on like the HubOS mods website and searched for the mods that each person has made, and I tried to like predict what kind of folders they would be using.
You're not the first person I've heard say this. This is this makes me really happy because this is a lot of what I wanted from this format.
Yeah. So like that was actually kind of fun trying to like think about like what my opponent might be using and like get into the headspace that would be necessary to see if I could counter it. It didn't really work out against Nyx because I did mostly accurately predict what they were using, but I was kind of playing poorly, especially in my second match. And in the first one, Rush was bugged.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
That told me that basically decided the match in one instance where I used my Giga chip. So that was unfortunate, but yeah, no, I think that the private format works fine. Like we all have to, I guess, just enter an agreement that while the tournament is active, we won't change make any drastic changes to the chips until after it's over. That's why I'm hesitant to nerf.
There
was
bomb
at the moment.
Which one? Break time bomb? Oh, what were you thinking?
Well, Constantinople brought up to me like a couple days ago that he was concerned it might be overpowered, and I saw LDR and Shido, I think, post a couple clips about some crazy things they're doing with Break Time.
Pacify, that's right.
Then Glade also agreed. Yeah, Glade is now also agreeing that it needs a nerf. And I'm like on board with it, but I want to wait until after the tournament's over, because that seems fair. If I make like drastic changes, nerfs or buffs before the tournament is over, it's like I'm not sure if that's great.
It's fine. I think.
But I've written down like a couple things I'm considering for nerfing it.
I'm definitely very interested to see what you end up coming up with. There's a lot of aspects of Star Force 3, and if it becomes like a lower damage number, you could definitely maybe put some elements on it or some other mechanic. So there's definitely a lot you could do with it while still like kind of giving it that damage potential.
The most straightforward suggestion that I kind of like and that I'm leaning more towards right now, but I think I want to pull them later, is making it unboostable. So it'll still do like the double damage on grass and stuff like that because it's part fire, but it won't be boosted with stuff like attack plus 30 or like Navi buffs, which I think is fine. In Star Force 3, not that many Navis buff Break Time Bomb anyway, or not by much. So I don't think it would like ruin the identity of the chip or anything. And I'm hesitant to remove some of the elements because, well, like Break, for instance, I don't want to remove because it is literally called Break Time Bomb.
Yeah.
So I'm like considering a couple things. I also like wondered if I should change the codes, if maybe that was part of the problem. But making it unboostable is like the one I'm leaning towards right now.
I don't know what codes Break Time Bomb is in, so that's definitely interesting for sure, but
B, G, and H. There might be a fourth one that I forgot about.
G and H could be a problem.
Yeah, yeah, because that's like where all the free stuff is, I think.
Freeze and uninstall immediately in my
Yeah.
brain. I guess kind of moving on to for currently there are many navies from original Battle Network and custom net navies present in HubOS. How have you enjoyed the diverse navi pool, and do you have any thoughts on their design?
Did my internet just go out? Am I still connected?
I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. To answer the question, I really like the variety. There's just like some navies I don't understand, so I don't want to like judge them as being unfun to play against because it might just be that they have a mechanic that I don't like get.
Hmm.
Uh, but I like the variety a lot. There's like certain issues. There's like one issue that I think Gohan brought up that I kind of agree with, which is that there's a lot of Mega Man.
Hmm. That's kind of a kind of a difficult. Oh, I think you cut out again. Uh-oh. Don't uh-oh. Come on.
Hi. Okay, my
Welcome
internet
back.
is. I'm sorry. This is normally not an issue.
No, it's fine. We're
Really good
actually
timing.
making pretty good time, surprisingly.
Oh, that's good to
So
know.
you cut out around a lot of Mega Man.
Yeah. I don't I don't think like Mega Man is boring or anything like that. Actually, it's cool to see like some of the different types like Master Style and Dark Soul.
Mm.
The issue that Gohan brought up that I kind of agree with is since they all look the same in the overworld, it can be hard to tell who you're going up against before you get on the map.
Mm.
So like I don't know, maybe like the Dark
Okay.
Soul Mega Man could probably have his overworld sprite adjusted to look darker. I know he doesn't in Bound Arc 4, but that's one solution. He kind of does in 5 with the that one story arc that happens in the second half of the game. So they could maybe use
Mm-hmm.
those sprites. I don't know. Just that's just one idea, but that's like my only thing about the variety that I've like noticed is kind of an issue. Otherwise, I think there's some really cool ones. They're all really fun. Uh, though I
Mm-hmm.
do know that there is some consensus that some are pretty overpowered, like base Sesame.
Yeah, for sure. And concerning the Mega Man issue, I definitely agree. I think it's kind of also a pain of design because a lot of people would prefer to see like all of the different eras of Mega Man available at different points. No one's really reached a
Yeah,
consensus on BN5 Mega Man or like doesn't want to touch it. And then it's it could kind of dominate the space with how strong they are for sure.
yeah.
Uh,
I actually did, I think we had a conversation about that in the chat channel in HubOS. I think it was actually just last night. Where Glade mentioned that they do actually want to make the BN5 Mega Man. It's just they have a lot of work to do at the moment, so they haven't been able to get to it.
right.
But it would take a lot of work because Number Soul and Protosoul are done, but you have to make all the other ones
I was
and
about
the
to
Chaos
say,
Unisets.
Number Soul is literally already in 4.
Yeah,
So it's like.
yeah, exactly. So like those two are done, right? But like the rest of them would have to be done from scratch, like Colonel Soul and
Yeah.
Medi Soul, Toad, and the Chaos Unisets.
The code for arm change is already in the game, so that's kind of a plus. People are working
Yeah,
on the Medi charge shot, so that can probably just be ripped straight out of her code once that's done.
yeah. And
The
Toadman's in it, so that would be one soul kind of covered.
I can't wait to do Toad song. It's gonna be so dumb. Uh, this is definitely going to be interesting. I look forward to it, and I look forward to what Navi's people come up with. There are a lot of great ones, and a lot of not a lot of some not great ones. Going on to the next question. Currently, we are between round 2 and semifinals of CCC. What have your thoughts been on the format so far? I've heard suggestions for a sampler event where people are assigned namespaces to pilot, and I've been thinking of a couple format ideas myself.
A sampler, huh? That actually sounds kind of cool. That sounds fun. To just kind of because there are some namespaces that are just like some types of chips that I haven't played with that much. I haven't played that much with the League of Legends inspired ones because I've never played League. Or well, that's not true. I did play it once, and I decided it wasn't for me.
Good.
and I wondered if like what would happen to me if I kept playing it because I kept hearing horror stories about how toxic it is. But yeah, like those are some chips I haven't done. Glade has also added a lot of chips inspired by Phantasy Star Online, and I've never played
Yeah.
that either. So like there's some chips that I haven't touched much because I'm just like not familiar with the source material, and
Mhm.
I'm like, I usually will stick to what I know first, and then I'll like
Right.
gradually experiment a little bit more and more.
Because you know
A
what it
sampling of it would like
does.
be something that would break me out of that. That sounds kind of fun, actually.
Hmm.
Uh, as for the format so far, I do like it. There's just like you told me it was for fun and for like showcasing what the different creators have been up to,
Hmm.
and I think it's great for that. But like, it's just one thing that's kind of inevitable about the format, which is some of us have made more chips than others.
Yes.
So
That
LDR has like
that is the unfortunate
half a
thing.
library's worth of options to pick from,
This
and
is
I
the
have
conundrum.
a handful. It's not like I feel like I'm completely I don't know, suffocating with like no options or something like that. Like it's not like that
Hmm.
bad for me, but there is like an imbalance there, I guess. But
Yes.
it's not like it doesn't really bother me. I'm just here for fun.
Hmm. That's partially why two reasons. Why the Navi pool is for the most part free, and the BN6 namespace is available so that people can kind of strategize around what they have and the different tools in
Yeah.
HubOS so they can kind of supplement whatever chips they have if they don't either have enough or if perhaps they want to go for a certain strategy and use their chips for more utility. Basically, how they want to demonstrate like the use cases of their chips, and there's definitely an imbalance. But I hope that the next time this happens, if there's a next time this happens, people kind of have more stuff and have a they have a different idea of what they want to bring and showcase, and it just turns out nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this tournament has made me excited for any other ones. Like I was kind of bummed out that I didn't get to be in the 2v2 tournament that happened a few months back.
Mm.
If they ever do something like that, like another multi-man count tournament, I would love to be. And that looked really fun.
Don't tempt me. I already have to think about the sampling tournament, but a 2v2 tournament sounds so tempting to run.
It's up to you. It's up to you. There's a lot of good ideas
The only problem is
or potential ones.
disconnecting is miserable.
The lag?
No, like, oh, how do I phrase it? Desyncs. And then you have to,
Oh,
like, replay the set.
I see. Was that a
Yeah.
frequent problem in the Back Me Up tournament?
Only in the last match, which is unfortunate, but it was a lot of fun. The 2v2s were really cool.
I see.
Uh,
The game seems to be a lot better about these things right now, so hopefully it won't be as much of an issue next time.
yeah, Const has been working really hard on that, and
Definitely.
Mhm.
Poor guy.
They're great. Going on to the next question. During the CCC, have any chips stood out to you or any combos between namespaces and custom chips?
Uh, Specifically in the CCC now.
Hmm.
I'm hesitant to talk too much about the matches that I had because I don't want to like spoil to anyone
Right.
in the like reading or watching the interview
This will
what
this will
Nyx
happen
is running.
after all of the
Oh, okay.
rounds
So
run. I haven't
am I
seen
allowed to
any of them
just?
either, but like this question kind of
Oh,
like asks for a spoiler if like there's a combo that spoke to you.
right. Um, Nyx is. Should I just? I'm allowed to just talk about it then?
Yeah, you can just talk about it. Like,
Sure. They are running a stall build, and
mm,
they use a lot of invis and anti-damages, slow gauge, and a handful of their own unique chips. I know they made Entangle. I don't remember if they used it. But they used a Yakisoban who heals himself and has, I
mm-hmm,
think, a chip charge that allows him to send missiles at you.
mm-hmm,
So that's Nyx's build, and it's interesting. That was like one of the reasons that like I knew I was kind of playing poorly because I could have countered slow gauge in one of the matches because
Oh,
low gauge
really?
applies fast gauge.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I don't know. I remember to do it in the first round, but decided to save off on it and then rushed and activate yada yada. And the second round, I just genuinely forgot
Maybe you wanted that
that I had
aggressive
that option.
pressure with +1 area wolf or something like that.
Yeah, but their build is pretty interesting. But I
It's
wonder,
more of like a
playing it
standard
like made me wonder
G-code
how
build.
much. Yeah, playing it made me wonder how much my uh chips contribute to stalling because I know move rejection would be a really obvious choice if someone wants to just stall.
Kinda. I don't know how the current iteration of it is. I think at one point it was, but I think if someone wanted to stall, they would want to utilize something else, not necessarily move barrier.
Yeah, playing against Nyx like made me think of that. Made me think like if move rejection was still too overtuned or not. But like it hasn't. The only time I saw it, like the last time I saw it mentioned was Satan, I think, one of the Japanese players, saying that they went up against someone who was just running pure stall. Like they had like no attacks. It was just trap,
The
invis,
trap
shadow, trap,
spam with
invis, move
Shadow
rejection.
Man is such a cursed
Yeah,
story. I hate
and
it so
that was what I was
much.
thinking of. That's what I was thinking of. Like I don't know if that warrants nerfing move rejection again, but like seeing it made me think like, oh wow, there. I guess you can really stall a lot in this game, can't you?
You
Uh,
definitely can, which is why I advised against defensive chips. But we are where we are,
yeah,
and I think it also depends because, like, if you had cursor chips, the traps wouldn't have done anything. Um, or at least you would have dealt with like some of them.
right.
So it's
I think I have a handful, right? Don't I have like a few machine guns?
hmm.
But the
Yeah, you had 3.
yeah, but I have so like some of the traps I could deal with, but there were also like just invises that I was not able to deal with as like all the time,
Hmm.
and they did have slow gauge, so I have there were like huge parts of the match where I wasn't able to use chips because I was waiting on the custom screen. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, that was like the combo that stood out to me, I guess, because Nyx used it.
Right, because your build
Just
wasn't
made me
really
think about stalling.
designed to like deal with like a charge shot based strategy like that.
Yeah.
Hmm. It's definitely difficult to deal with if you're not ready for it. I think Perrin dropped normal gauge like right after that too. Um,
That's funny, actually. Yeah, they did. Huh.
uh,
It's
or it was
interesting.
around that
I don't
time
think
at
there's a
least.
correlation, but that is a funny coincidence.
It was like around that time. It could have been like way before. I remembered seeing that.
Yeah.
Uh, all right. So for this next section, we're still in the general questions. I picked 2 of your chips, one of which
Sure.
I like, and one that I like less. Not necessarily dislike, but
Like glass, I get it.
like less. Yeah. For favorite chip, it's gotta be Break Saber. I need to use it more,
Break saber.
but it's a chip from Star Force 3 that I used a lot. I used it in my main playthrough. I used it the few times I did PvP. I like the break and sword aspect of it and kind of the awkward shape it cuts in. It's kind of interesting for that. Like, not even thinking from like a mouse perspective because I haven't thought to break it yet, and I haven't really done strategies that utilize the code that it's in. But it's just a chip that stood out to me a lot, and I'm glad that it's in Battle Network.
Happy to hear it.
Hmm. You might have guessed the least favorite chip. Break time bomb. I just think the numbers are a little too high. I know it references the Star Force based numbers, and I respect it for that because I know it wants to maintain the identity as much as possible. I think a lot of creators have like kind of stood by like everything should be like as faithful as it could possibly be
Right.
in order to work it through. I think it's a very interesting chip, and I think a lot of people want it to be powerful because it's
Nerf
a
the limit at
time
least,
bomb.
yeah. That's like the other aspect. Because it's a time bomb, I know like some of the conventions, I guess, that you would use to design other Giga chips don't necessarily apply. The only other Giga chip I can think of that's like comparable to Break Time Bomb in terms of like how much damage and utility it has is Blue Moon Ray. Blue Moon Ray also does 600 damage. And I guess
Yeah.
it's equivalent to like the time bomb aspect is that you have to position yourself in a really specific way to get the full damage, which is 3 tiles away. And it inflicts uninstall. So I'd say like that's like the other Giga chip that's like equivalent in power kind of to Break Time Bomb. But that's the thing, right?
Absolutely.
Blue Moon Ray is unboostable.
Good.
That's one of the reasons I was like, yeah, I agree. Yeah, could you imagine? My God.
Full
That's
synchro.
one of the reasons that I think, Christ. That's one of the reasons I was thinking, like, I guess that's like the change that makes the most sense, making Break Time Bomb unboostable.
I think
And yeah,
you
no, I
could
do
use
want
a
to keep like the identity of the chip, but also like
lower
I'm
power.
content making them. I'm content like nerfing Break Time Bomb. I was just I want to preserve the identity of the chip, so like there's some things I don't want to change, like the break element.
Absolutely.
Mainly.
Yeah.
But nerfing like the damage or something, I'd be fine with.
Mm.
That's why I want to put up all the options that I'm considering. So changing the codes, changing it to be unboostable, lurking the damage, etc., to up to a poll. I'm glad that the Lua modding thing is on the server now, so we can all have our little threads.
Oh yeah, that's like
Very
super
convenient.
helpful to have like notes and stuff for like different projects and whatnot. So if you need to reference something, you can just pin it. Like that's definitely super valuable.
Yeah, very helpful. So that's where I'm gonna do the polls when I'm done with the tournament.
This actually wasn't in my notes, but I guess kind of as a special bonus question, how much do you use other people's Lua modding channels to reference stuff?
It's fairly new. It's not like I've been using it like super constantly, but I have been using it a little bit. Like I'll check in and see like everyone's up to. And I also wrote a little bit in Constantinople's thread because he's making two things. The first being a new trap, which is
he
really
was
funny. It's
telling
called
me.
Anti-Stun. And Hughes, brilliant name by the way. Love it.
Oh, we all love Hughes.
Brilliant. And I thought like we tested the Navi like a fair bit together, and it is so fun. There's like some very interesting combinations you can do with him. He came up with using Bug Death Thunder, and then using the charge shot command to be able to input it a little bit more quickly than normal.
Oh my god!
And I saw it, and I'm like, wow, that looks amazing. I want that. I've been saving up Zenny in the arcade so that when it drops, I'll hopefully be able to buy it.
Oh, he has decided to go through with that?
Yeah, it hasn't dropped in the arcade yet, but that's the plan. He'll put it in the arcade as like a reward when it's ready.
I definitely need to save up for that. All right. So, all right, so that was all the general questions. So the rest of these questions are unique questions that I prepared for you ahead of time. Right now, as far as I know, you've only really added chips to the SF3 namespace in hubOS. Do you have any plans on adding chips into your own namespace or utilizing other Star Force mechanics to appear in hubOS?
Yes to both. The super special secret mod is going to be in my own namespace, and there are other Star Force mechanics that I wanted to add. So that's actually one of the things I'm going to pull after the tournament is over, which is replacing full synchro with the Big Bang mechanic, which is if you get a counter, it gives you a card depending on what form you're in. If you're a Rogue or base Mega Man, it'll just give you a random card from your folder. And if you're in any of the elemental forms or Black Ace / Red Joker, it will give you a specific powerful card depending on the element. So Black Ace gets Black End Galaxy, Red Joker gets Red Gaia Eraser, Libra and Cygnus get Meteorite Barrage, Virgo and Cancer get Dino Wave, Taurus and Corvus both get Atom Blazer, and Wolf and Ophiucha get Elemental Cyclone. Oh, right, the electric ones. Crown and Gemini get Thunderbolt Blade. That's how Big Bang works.
Right.
So I would replace full synchro though. That's the downside, I guess. I don't know. Like Big Bang seems like it would be really fun, and I can do it. Like it's doable, but
as long as it's not
that's like the trade-off.
the damage numbers from 38, it's probably fine.
Yeah, that's
450 damage
thing
invis piercing.
Exactly. That's point number one. Definitely like nerfing the damage, absolutely. But otherwise, they seem like they could be pretty fun additions.
It would definitely be something people would find hype for sure, I imagine.
It'd be hype, but that's like my number one like issue with that, I guess. Like the one thing that's like making me like think twice about adding it is just it would replace full synchro. I don't know if everyone is on board with that, because I kind of think like there's a lot of combos and stuff you can do with full synchro, and like especially using like Super Vulcan or something that I know people have fun using with full synchro. Like there's some combos you won't be able to do anymore if I remove it. And I also had this concern that if I remove full synchro, the emotion window is kind of pointless. It will mostly just be there to like indicate what form you're in when you're in the custom select screen, so you don't have to press select all the time, which is still like useful. But the emotion window exists for emotions. If I get rid of that, it's like a superfluous design element.
Well, Anxious still matters in terms of when Mega Man can or can't transform. I don't even know if Anxious works currently in hubOS, but in terms of full synchro mattering, if it works, I don't know how similar it works to be in 6 Mega, where if you're crossed, you can, noised, you can get full synchro still, but I assume otherwise you would be able to get full synchro in Black Ace or Red Joker form.
Yes to basically all those questions. So that's the thing. The Balnark 6 Mega Man currently in hubOS is not implemented exactly like he is in Balnark 6.
Not yet,
hubOS,
yeah.
He actually can get full synchro and crosses.
Which you should not be able to do.
Well, I kind of agree, but we
are working on it.
We're going to, yeah, exactly. We're going to change it while we also do like the Beast Out stuff for him as well. But yeah, Star Force can get full synchro and noises as well, and is as Black Ace and Red Joker.
I think the issue you would actually come across is kind of the opposite. In this situation, I think getting chips would be more powerful than full synchro in a lot of circumstances. Because you have new opportunities to be able to do a wide variety of things for a decent amount of damage that exceeds your folder limit.
True.
And in many instances, actually, your hand limit. In the case that you take 5 chips, you could actually end up with 6.
Yeah. Or 10 if you somehow counter with all 5, which is unlikely, but... yeah, there's just
like be a hard 1 per turn limit on that. Come for balance sake.
There is in Star Force there is like a turn limit. You can't gain new cards if you counter with a card that was gained from a Big Bang. So there is like a hard limit of basically 10 per turn. I could reduce that further though, I don't mind. These are just some of the considerations I'm thinking of when I'm considering adding Big Bang. And also like, well, I guess this goes without saying, but also the amount of work it would take. Dino Wave's already in the game, but
yeah.
Thunderbolt Blade, Elemental Cyclone, and all those other ones I'd have to do basically from scratch.
Oh my god, do we have 3 versions of Dino Wave? Oh my god,
do we? I thought it was just the one.
We don't have it yet, but the BN3 version, LDR's version, which puts sand, and then I guess the Star Force version, which tracks you, which is Wave Arm.
Right. The Balnark 3 one is what I was thinking. Well, I know it's not like exactly like it is in Balnark 3, but like that, the way that it works with that chip is very similar to how it works in Star Force, which is you fire 3 waves. The difference in Star Force is that it's time freeze. And it doesn't inflict bubble unless you're Cancer. Because Cancer adds bubble himself to any water chip. Those would be the differences. So like, Dino Wave is like 90%. Like if I were like to take that chip and then modify it, I would basically already be like 90% done. But everything else I'd have to make basically from scratch.
Hmm.
I'll do the work. If people do genuinely like we do the poll and it turns out, yeah, we would actually rather have Big Bang than full synchro, then sure. I'll just like think of some other way to use the emotion window. Actually, yeah, that's the almost forgot. Anxious is in the game, but I
Hmm.
don't think every Navi has it. Like on a per Navi basis, they will
Yeah.
implement certain emotions.
If you
So some have
have
anger, some don't.
Nightmare, it'll fluctuate through Anxious, but some people have discussed that maybe like the opportunity for full synchro comes up way too often. But that's
For the emotion bug thing, yeah.
yeah. But that's a different conversation for later, definitely.
Right.
I think that's actually how the crosses got full synchro was because of that switch drive. So it might be a
You
layering
can get
issue.
full synchro normally, like if you just counter it in a cross. Like it
I
is just like a I don't want to say it's like an oversight on Constantinople's part, because I'm not sure if it was like an intentional choice to allow them to have full synchro because Beast Out wasn't in the game yet.
mm,
Uh, but yeah, like you can't just straight up counter and get full synchro on crosses.
right. Okay. Going into the next question, we kind of talked about this a little bit already. Moodberry has had a lot of bugs since its inception. How goes the progress with it? In that same line of thought, are there any plans to change Star Force Mega Man, and what might the... We literally just talked about this. Okay, are there any other changes Star Force Mega Man wants to go through, and what that might look like?
Yes, two major ones. The first is I want to do like a second pass over the charge shots and polish them up a little bit. The one that's like sticking out of my mind is that I think Gemini's might be too fast. I want to redo significant parts of it. I'm using like the sprite of the Guts Punch one, and I want him to have like his actual rocket knuckle from Star Force 3. That might require a custom sprite though. And
Yeah.
the other thing is just changing the lock-on behavior. I want it to just be like it is in Star Force and Operation Star.
Okay.
I'm unsure if I should get to work on that immediately after the tournament or not, because Kant said he was working on the Beast Jump library. And the lock-on behavior is very similar to that in Star Force. You know, if you use like Tornado,
Well, it's not
it'll
a
like position
universal.
you.
You have to have line of sight and then diagonal.
Right,
So,
but what the library resolves isn't the locking on part. It's like what happens when you jump up to the enemy. That's what the library resolves. So
oh,
if
that's
you use
what.
Tornado, you'll be 2 tiles away from the target instead of right in front of them so that the tornado doesn't miss. If you're using a sword, it's like right in front of them. If you're using something like an axe chip that like has like life sword range, it'll position you like a little bit away from the enemy, so like it's more useful, like that kind of thing.
I think the discussion was that it's going to have to be chip dependent, which is not
Yes,
good. It's
it is going to be chip
because
dependent.
that is how it works in BN6, unfortunately.
Yeah, so like the idea that Kant shared with me, and this might change, is certain chips will be tagged with like coordinates that kind of dictate where you're supposed to jump with if you beast jump with that chip. And I would be using the same thing if I change the lock-on behavior. But also, yeah, the arrows that show you like the diagonal and front and all that, I
I
will
guess you
also be changing
could
that.
just use the Lua from the Beast Jump and then like just put an exception for unless like they're within a certain range that you set like across,
Yeah, exactly.
and then okay, yeah, I see the vision.
Yeah, that's those are the two changes for the Star Wars mod I'm planning. About move rejection. As far as I can tell, I think the bugs have been fixed. There was like an issue where like if the move rejection chip regenerated the barrier, like the same frame that you took damage, it would like make you invincible. And that was something that I think had to do with defense rules, because there was something similar that could happen with anti-damage. As far as I know, that's been fixed. I've tried using move rejection a couple times, and some of my friends have also used it on me,
I have
and I haven't
not
seen it
heard of
cause that
eternal
issue anymore.
anti-damage in a while, so I think it's resolved until something else breaks and we go to 97.1 of HubOS.
But yeah, those are the plans, and that's my thing about move rejection.
Going going to the next question. Resembling how you add SF cards to Hub OS, it makes sense that you chose Star Force Mega Man as your option. And generally, I really like your wood focus with the utilization of plasma guns to disable the opponent for optimal positioning and comboing. Were you perhaps waiting to focus on the I forget how you say it, Ophicia form to increase the damage of your risky honey chips? What were your thoughts when making your build?
Yes, actually, that is exactly it. Ophiuka will buff Risky Honey, but also Ophiuka has a unique property for its charge shot in that it spreads grass in a plus shape around the point of impact. So, Break Time Bomb is part fire. That's the idea. So you try to with Boomerang and the Ophiuka charge shot, I try my best to make sure that the opponent is on a grass tile so that I can maximize the damage of Break Time Bomb.
I'm surprised you didn't throw the fire hit 3s in there.
Fire hit 3? I probably could have put it in. But is it in B code? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's a B code.
Damn. I have Blast Man, but I did also. I did remember to add that one, and I also added Proto Man because
B Brothers, very classic take.
Yeah, just in case I can't paralyze with Plasma Gun or Erase Man and Judge Man, you can use Gemini, who adds paralysis to all sword cards, to add paralysis to Proto Man that way, and I'll try. If I can't use Ophiuka, that's like my plan B.
That still adds to the freeze time stuff. That's really strong.
Yeah, that's the idea. I know there's like some issues with that folder. You probably noticed it, that I don't have Invis in it.
That can be difficult. For sure. Yeah.
I have
maybe someone was a little too confident because I banned Django.
No, actually, I actually forgot that Django was banned, right? They did nerf Django, I think, after the tournament started, but...
The original Django? I thought there was a different Django.
There is a different Django in the game now, but I'm pretty sure that the original one also got some kind of nerf. I think he has a cooldown on his gun, I don't remember.
Interesting. I gotta look into that.
But, sure. But, no, it's actually just I have this particular playstyle where I don't like to use Invis that much in PvP. In PvE, I will use it. But against players, I have this thought process that a lot of chips in the game pierce Invis anyway, and Rush is really popular. So I'd rather just focus on using stuff like anti-damage for defense or Risky Honey, and just make the rest of the folder combos. That's my playstyle. If I sent you some of my other folders, you will probably also notice that a lot of them also don't have Invis. It's just my playstyle. I know it has I know if I would to take this to an actual BN6 tournament, some people would probably raise eyebrows at not using Invis, but I don't know. That's my playstyle.
No, there's plenty of builds that forgo defense options in order to put more combos or different utility options in there. Some people prefer flat recovery 300 or barriers. Sometimes they will have certain pieces that combo, or just combos themselves instead. Usually in those builds, I'll see about 3 of the flat defense chips, either anti-damage or invis, depending on what they're playing. But it's perfectly acceptable to cut down on some of your defensive chips in order to include more combo pieces if you think you can initiate without too much difficulty.
That makes sense. Yeah, I didn't know how common it was actually. I've seen a couple BN6 tournaments, but not that many. I just kind of assumed everyone. I had this assumption that 90% of folders have no ifs, ands, or buts. At least one Invis, at least one anti-damage, Element Man, Judge Man, Erase Man, and as many copies of Air Grab as they can fit.
Not usually as many area grabs as you can fit in there. Usually that will depend on the folder. But usually 3 anti-damage, 3 invis, Life Aura, the Navis are pretty standardized.
Right, Life Aura, that's the other one.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have Life Aura in here. That's a little wild.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know it's wild. Like I said, I know I'm foregoing a lot of defenses, but that's the plan.
That's part of the beauty of it.
In testing, that folder looked really good, but Nyx countered it pretty hard.
You also did some scrimming.
Yeah. Tim knows what the build is. We tested our tournament builds a little bit against each other before the tournament started. So he knows it. and
Mm-hmm.
Constantinople knows it, and Nix knows it, obviously.
Yeah.
And against some of my friends who aren't in the tournament, who just play hubos like semi-casually, I asked them to
Mm-hmm.
help me pick a build because I had other options. The B code break time bomb one was one option, and there was like another option, which was an R code folder, where I was going to have uninstall wide shot, bubble stars, that kind of thing, and roll.
Mm.
But after testing both folders, I liked the break time bomb one more,
Mm-hmm. More of the chips are
and I felt like
non-flashing, and you have actual. Well, you would have had paralysis in either one, but the
yeah,
non-flashing grasp would definitely have helped with the break time bomb for sure.
exactly. That's thing number one, and then thing number two is like on top of just like thinking that that folder seems more fun to play with. I remember that like you told me that one of the points of the tournament was for like the creators to showcase what the mods can do and like
Hmm.
what some of the stuff that is unique to HubOS. And
So you
the
wanted to
problem with those
obliterate
other
someone with a break
builds,
time bomb?
yes, but that sounds bad, right? But like the other builds
I think it's
seemed
funny.
more, I don't know. I don't want to say boring, understated, I guess, because the other builds were just going to use move rejection, and I felt like if I played
Mm.
Star Force Mega Man using move rejection and otherwise just normal Balnark 6 strategies, I wouldn't really be showcasing what makes Star Force unique.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I use Break Time Bomb and I use like the Ofuka grass thing and all that, like that's more unique. Like that's not something you can normally do or that people do that often in Balnark 6. It felt like the
Mm.
folder that made the more sense to showcase what Star Force is capable of.
So you definitely wanted to at least focus on like one of the 2 gigas, but you felt that break time bomb would like kind of like have more of an image for like
Yeah,
what kind of chips Star Force can do. So you like
exactly.
lean towards a more aggressive variant. I like that. I think that's very interesting.
Glad you agree. Yeah, that was the thought process.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got another one, and then it'll be one more after that. Do you have any questions for me? The next question afterwards will wrap this up.
Questions for you. Two actually. Two quick questions. The first is how did you get into Balnark? I'm actually really curious, like what people's stories are when it comes to like getting into Mega Man.
Hmm. Okay. When I was younger, I had a Game Boy. I wanted to get more into Mega Man. I would play. How do I word this? On a Nintendo friendly computer, which had Mega Man X on it a lot. And
The original
playing
X.
that, uh, I kind of fell in love with Mega Man a lot. And I guess I don't remember when it was. It might have been a birthday or a Christmas. I ended up with a Battle Network 3 cartridge and later a Battle Network 5 cartridge. I think about maybe like 5 years ish after that. Discord was like more of a thing. I was in middle or high school and I ended up joining the N1GP server. I kind of went through the twos and throws of like how they did PvP, and I would watch a lot of the time. There were a couple of times that I played, but it was kind of far in between. I still have a couple of those videos at like the very, 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 very bottom of my channel. They're like
Hmm.
they like required that you posted them to YouTube, and I was like, whatever, I'll just leave them there. That's kind of how I got into it, and then I kind of like stayed around it for like a long time afterwards. But so the N1GP definitely helped with that, even if I don't really like hang around there much anymore.
That's cool. I actually didn't know that you don't hang around the N1GP anymore. I don't. I'm in the Discord, but I don't check it that often.
Mm-hmm.
I have a pretty similar story because I also started with the X games, but I have like I played them in somewhat of a sporadic order. I did play X1. That was like one of my first, but I think the first game I played was actually X5,
That's very
which I know
interesting.
I know people have opinions on that game, and I agree. That game has like problems.
Hmm.
The part system is obtuse and it has like its auto scrollers and stuff, but I really like that game still. Partially because I grew up with it, so I kind of its flaws don't bother me as much.
Right.
But I also just genuinely think it has like solid level design for the most part. I can go back and play that game and I'm still kind of nostalgic for it. It's not my favorite, but I do like it. And yeah, it was a similar thing for me. I liked the platformer games, classic NX, so much that I did end up buying, or my parents would buy for me when I was a kid, the Balnark and Star Force games.
Mm.
I played all of them multiple times to completion and had a lot of fun doing it. I'm really looking forward to the Star Force collection when it comes out this month.
Oh, absolutely. I was
That'll
actually
be fun.
thinking of. I've actually been kind of a criminal to the Battle Network collection. I only played like through Valzar and like half of Gregor and some of 4. I'm thinking of playing through all of 1, like just before Star Force collection comes out and kind of fully going into it.
I see.
Definitely going to be fun. But what was your other question, out of curiosity?
Right. It's about the Back Me Up Partner tournament. How did you? I actually don't know how the process was for picking your partner. How did that work? How did you end up with LDR?
Funny. I actually have a whole video about that. So
Really?
I asked the
Damn,
different
I
Mega
should've seen it.
Buddies. I asked Squeak. I asked Blue, and I asked Rock, and none of them were available. I had already played with LDR a lot, so I just asked him naturally as the next, and we just spitballed ideas until we decided what we wanted to play.
I see. I didn't know that, to be honest. I didn't know he was like your 5th choice. I kind of assumed he'd be like the 2nd or 3rd person you asked.
I really like playing with Blue and Squeak and Rock a lot, but time and such doesn't always let us get to play together. So even if they didn't know the game as well, I wanted to give them the opportunity and I wanted to have fun with them on it. It was less that I didn't want to consider LDR, but that I imagined
Oh,
a
sure.
lot of people definitely wanted to play with him for the tournament.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. I wasn't trying to. I'm sorry if it came off that way. I didn't mean to like.
No, I get
you
it.
weren't
Yeah.
considering him. Yeah. I was just. Since you went with him, I assumed he was one of your first choices. Just kind of. I just assumed that. I guess I don't know. Very very curious to hear that though. I kind of. It's like I said. I didn't know how people decided their partners or like how strict it was for that tournament. So I was really curious about what the process was like.
I think people just kind of like had other people in mind when they joined. It definitely is interesting. I don't think if I ever hosted one, I could host a like an assigned partnership. I wouldn't want to do that to people because it could feel very unfair to people who want to try more or less in the game.
Right.
I think actually the tourney host ended up having to play because a partner didn't show up. It was kind of unfortunate, but it was a very fun match. It was like a round 2, I think. Very interesting.
I didn't know that happened. Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I think. Oh wait, no. I think it was not that their partner didn't show up, just that there was a couple of people who, 1 or 2 people that didn't have a partner. Because you could sign up by yourself if you didn't have a partner in mind, and you would just get assigned a teammate. But there wasn't anyone to fill, I guess. Very interesting. I really. Now I'm between the sampler and a 2v2 tourney. I don't know what I'm going to do. I still have to edit all of this stuff. I hope I'm able to host something like that soon, though, assuming no one else has something in the plans. If NetSavers does another one, like, I would definitely have to participate in that one, because it was a lot of fun playing in it last time, and the format's kind of changed a lot. Do you have any other questions?
No, really just those 2. What was the one that you wanted to give me?
Alright. If there was another chip creator clash, would you be interested in participating?
Yes, but hopefully at that point, if we do another one, I'll have more than just this handful of Star Force 3 cards to pick from. I'll have like more. I'll have published more mods by then, so I can show a little bit more about what Star Force is capable of. But yes, definitely, I would be interested. Or maybe by then my super special secret mod will be out, and I can use that instead. Maybe.
That'd be fun. I'd be delighted if you participated again. Hopefully, we can have more people participating next time. I know there's been more people like Gabby who have been making a ton of mods in an absolute fervor, and Glade unfortunately was not able to participate this time.
I was wondering about
But
that. Oh well.
not feeling well, but I know where their heart is. I know they want to show off a bunch of their chips, and I would want to see how they would want to utilize their chips. But I definitely, it probably won't be soon. I would want to like give people time and thought, and I also have faith that people wouldn't create chips with the mindset of personally using it for a tournament, and that's kind of why I'm also like really excited, because I hope people like get ideas that they kind of get in the mood for tournaments. I hope that people watching also like really get into the idea of different namespaces or even their own format ideas that they kind of want to play against each other. But thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for having this interview with me. Absolutely. I hope that your match with Sobble goes well and that the rest of the tournament's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
All right. I will talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah, talk to you later.